All right, since everybody's so interested in meal prep, I'm going to do an actual meal prep today, so let's go. We've got 80-20 beef today. First step, turn it high. Let your pan get hot. It's very important. Make sure it's hot before you put the meat on there. You want to brown your beef, not gray it. When you achieve that heat, go ahead and hit it with some cooking spray, and then throw your beef in there. Y'all hear that? Your beef wasn't sizzling when you put it in. Pan wasn't hot enough. You messed up. Throw it all away. Try again. I'm just kidding, but seriously, like making sure your pan is hot before you put your meat in there is paramount to not only it tasting delicious, but the reheating part later. So for what I'm doing right now, I am going to very heavily salt this. I'm trying to do this with one hand and not spill any, not get in trouble with my wife. But I'm putting more salt than usual, and I'm somebody who likes a lot of sodium. But you'll see why here shortly. I'm saving the other seasonings for later. Again, you'll see why later in the video. Alright, now that your meat is sufficiently browned, gosh, my lighting in here is terrible. I'm going to drain it, so I'm going to have to put my camera down to do this part. Be right back. Alright, so typically I don't drain it over a pot like this, but I just wanted to show y'all real quick. A couple more shakes. Right here. There's a pretty significant amount of fat down in there. Trying to one-hand it. But yeah, maybe I'll pour it in a measuring cup here in a minute. But after you drain it, I'm going to take the next step and rinse it. This is going to make your beef extremely lean. And you know, right now I am very much cutting weight, and this is quite a bit of calories that I am getting out of there. Exactly how lean and how much fat, like if you were trying to track exact macros, that part I can't tell you. I can't tell you if this is going to make it like a 93.7 or a 96.4. But you guys saw all the fat in that pot there. And then rinsing the beef is going to take even more of the fat out. And this is why I heavily salted it and waited to put the other seasonings in it. So, yeah, transfer it back into my pan. Going to try my best to one-hand this here, and I should have taken the caps off my seasonings first. But we are going to hit it with some more salt. And trust me, like, I heavily salted at the beginning, so some would get entrenched down deep into the beef, but a lot of that salt got rinsed away too. We're going to hit it with some garlic powder. Don't be afraid to go heavy with these seasonings. They are delicious. One-handing over here, some adobo. If you don't know what that is, go in whatever ethnic aisle of your local grocery store. I almost promise they will have it near the Spanish stuff. Adobo is fantastic. Let's go with some paprika. A little bit of smokiness. And be liberal with your seasonings. Beef really absorbs them well and takes to them quite well. Some cumin. Now this one, cumin's very strong. I go lighter with the cumin. But you can go as heavy as you want with it. But it will overpower all the other stuff if you go extremely heavy with it. Now what I like to go heavy with, however, is the chili powder. It's probably my favorite spice or seasoning of all time. And yeah, so got that. I'm going to get that all incorporated well. And for this dish, I've got 2 bags of these peas, 4 servings each. I'm going to get those ready in the microwave Yeah, they're just like 5 minutes each in the microwave. See y'all in a second. Okay, my beef is done. I don't know if that red tint is coming across on video, but I'm just letting it sit there and rest now while the peas cook. And I'll get back with y'all in a minute with the storage. Alright, so I've got my beef and peas in there. I just eyeball it when I throw it in there, make it look about even. By the time I eat all 4 of these, it's going to be the same anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to throw in pineapple fruit cups in each one. Little sweet and savory action there. I like the texture of the peas in there with the beef and the pineapples, so let's edit all of these in there. Alright, so we've got our beef and our pineapples and our peas in there, but this beef, now that I've defatted it, it's going to be really dry, and really dry stuff kind of sucks when you reheat it. I like this G. Hughes sugar-free barbecue sauce. There is 170 total calories in this whole thing, so it's spread across 4 meals. Not really that big a deal. I'm just going to evenly, my best I can, put it in all 4 of these. Now as this sits, it is about 65 grams of protein and 43 grams of carbs for each one. But I'm not really satisfied with the volume of food in there. I'd like a little more volume, but not any more carbs or calories. I won't be training this week. Work's going to be a little busy, so I'm just going to deload with it. So I'm going to add some home canned sauerkraut to each of these, and I'll probably end up using 2 jars. Sauerkraut really doesn't have very many calories or carbs or anything like that. It's good for your digestive system and all that, so yeah. And there we go. Much better, much more volume. Feels a little bit heavier in my hand, and I'll be satisfied when I eat it. So I've got those covered and in the refrigerator. All in all, it took me, I don't know, 30-45 minutes. Would have been even shorter if I wasn't making these videos in between. And that is something that I will enjoy eating. I'll look forward to heating up and eating it. That G. Hughes sugar-free sauce is something, it's incredibly macro friendly, and even if I weren't, you know, cutting, watching macros, whatever the case may be, like, it's delicious. It's legit good. You could throw that on pretty much anything and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is delicious. So don't be afraid to experiment. You know, I've got pineapples and peas in there. These are things I like. I like the sweet and savory aspect. And then I really wasn't going to put kraut in this. I had no intentions of sauerkraut. Typically I put potatoes or rice in there, but again, I'm not training this week, so I didn't want the extra carbs. And I had that kraut laying around in my cabinet, and again, it's good for you, and it adds virtually nothing as far as calorie wise. So, you know, think on the fly. Season your meat. Please season your meat. Don't worry, that's just my 7-year-old killing himself in the living room. He's not really killing himself. But yeah, and make sure your pan's hot and season your meat. Those are my 2 biggest takeaways from here. Hot pan before you put the meat in it. Season your meat well, and it's going to keep well and reheat well. And just because you're dieting, cutting, eating for performance, whatever the case may be, you can still enjoy your food if you just take a little bit of steps in preparing it. Hey!